Hello and welcome back to the vlog. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about how brains work because in one of the comments of the videos earlier in the week, Steve Courtwright said, "Oh, the chum, you're not very good at maths, are you?" And I was like, "Aren't you from Texas?" But yes, I'm not very good at maths. Mental arithmetic is not one of my strong points. In fact, I did the whole thing where I went to school and people would say, take your hand and say, it's very, very simple. This person has so many apples, this person has other apples, and if you take some apples and give them to other people, and I'm like, it's not going in. It doesn't matter how slowly you explain it, this is not going in because I have an image-based brain and not a theoretical-based brain. In modern education, we know about the different ways of learning. So we know that some people are kinesthetic. We know some people work better with spoken data. Some people will work better with imagery. To my maths teachers, to all of them who said, you won't have a calculator when you're older. Sharp DAL calculator, scientific calculator. I've had this one for years and it's a replacement to the one that I had before that was also a Sharp DAL but with a cracked screen. In fact, one of my friends said, what can I get you for Christmas one year? And I said a Sharp DAL calculator and they looked at me and said, what? Yeah, so I have another one and this lives on the shelf just here. So yeah, my maths teachers, sorry old chum, but you are wrong. Yeah, mental arithmetic, can't do it. What I can do is pick up data quite easily if it happens to be a picture, in picture form. In fact, turns out that Terry Pratchett and Discworld novels come as a graphic novel. So you can actually pick them up as graphic novels. I mean, how brilliant is that? But that's not why we're here. We're here because one of my favorite books growing up was The Atlas. I love maps. I can't articulate how much I love maps. I didn't have a GPS in my car until fairly recently. In fact, before the car, I've only had the car 3 years. Before that, I had a motorbike and I didn't have the GPS on the motorbike. And you can get external GPSs for motorbikes. It's a very clear and thing that you can get, but I never had them. I'd just look at a map. I'd say I need to go from this point to this point. These are all the roads. If one of them happens to be blocked, there's roadworks or a crash or whatever, I'll just take one of the other roads. Look at it, remember it, fine. It's like water to a duck, as in it's wet, I guess. Maps are wet? No, they're not. They're paper. So, yeah, this book, I read quite a lot. It's weird to some people, but to everyone else, you could look up a place like Japan. I've never been to Japan, but I have studied maps. And in modern times, Google Street View is absolutely brilliant. That's the Oxford School Atlas. I was recently given a few other books, and these are amazing. I have the Handy Times Atlas from 1940. So this book, which is what, 80 years old now? Handy Times Atlas. This is going to have a very different world than we have now. That's Canada. See if I can find... Well, we got New Zealand here. I want to show you this without actually breaking the spine or anything, but can I get that on there? That's New Zealand. That's a map of New Zealand. These are so detailed. These are absolutely brilliant. What I'm looking for, and I probably should have bookmarked it already, is Manchuria. Now, Central Japan, okay, Indochina. All right, so we've got Indochina. And in green, what do we got here? So the green, can you see that? Is that in focus? I don't even know if it's going to be in focus. I might just have to take some images of this. We have Siam, and it's just like, wait a minute. All these names are wrong. Yeah, Burma is in there. It's not as good as the last atlas that I've got. So this boy, this Chonka, so we can get the name of it because it's a little faded. It is like 120 years old. The Century Atlas and Gazetteer of the World. So the Century Atlas. It's a very old book. Very, very old book. And I'm going to have to insert some photographs of this because I have to be very delicate with this book. It should really be either in a museum or I should be wearing gloves. But yeah, one of my favorite little books. This has actually been given to my grandmother, but right in the front of the book it says Helen Sutton from mother, September 15th, 1898. That's Helen Sutton, as in Sutton Seeds, the seed dynasty. That I don't know if it's still in the family. I know the company owns Dobby's, the nursery, the place where you buy plants and things. If you move on a little bit, yeah, the spine on this is coming apart, so I'm going to have to insert some pictures. I have Sylvia written in here as well, and their address. Now, Helen Sutton and Sylvia. So Sylvia, related to me is, well, it's my dad's grandmother's aunt, so that would be my great aunt. Safe to say we never met. But what is Helen Sutton to my family? Well, turns out that Helen Sutton sponsored my grandmother through school because public schools didn't exist, and my grandmother was Sylvia's niece at the time. So this book entered our family at some point. I do have a date here, 1912. So in 1912, this book was in my family. Makes it quite a long time in the old family, old chum. That means that at some point it was given to my grandmother, because my grandmother owned it for a long time, then my dad, so I'm probably like the fifth person to own this book. And there is an awful lot of information in here. See if we can find the place that don't exist anymore. This is probably going to upset somebody. Let's see if I can get that up. We do have Palestine. I'm just on the edge of the camera there. We do have Palestine, sans Israel, because that didn't occur until after the Second World War. So basically we have China, the Chinese Empire, Tibet, Mongolia, and Manchuria are all separate still here. And then there's a little drawing of somebody in the side of the page, just in the margins. And on the other page, the opposite side of Palestine, we have Persia. So, yeah, it's crazy, this ancient book. But the thing is, maps, specifically maps like this, are amazing, fascinating, absolutely brilliant. And I can look at these and I'll remember them. And that's it. I just need to look at them once and that's fine. Maths, on the other hand, will never go in. Absolutely never go in. I'm glad we could have that particular conversation. I have no idea how I'm going to edit this because I need to go off and photograph a bunch of stuff from the atlas. Hopefully copyrights are going to have waned on the Century Atlas. Possibly not the Handy Atlas since it's still owned by the Times technically, although in the front of the book it is published by Selfridge and Company Limited. So I'll just show you that momentarily because I can. So that's there, I think, 1940. Good, excellent. So we have in three books, three atlases, the Handy Atlas, the Century Atlas, and the Oxford School Atlas, three versions of the world that don't really exist anymore. It's fascinating, amazing, and beautiful. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to leave it there for the time being. That's why I can't do maths, but can read a map. But if you do like these little videos, definitely leave a little subscribe, because the subscribe helps the channel. Leave a like because the like helps the videos. And I'll tell you what, I will catch you next time.